James Pettis, part of the weather community here in the greater Nashville area. He also watches football. And he said Tennessee will finish in the bottom 4 of the SEC this year. Well, that's hateful. That is hate speech. And I think it's pretty bold. I think this is a 9.25 on the boldness scale. Now, understand, I think the markets are too high on Tennessee. Like, I think FanDuel's too high on Tennessee. I already bet the under at 8.5 wins. And if they surprise me, they surprise me. I just think there were already a lot of question marks on that team. Then you had the quarterback thing happen. I think it's a little bit of a rebuild year for Tennessee. So I'm already a little bit down on them, but I'm not this down on them. Arkansas and Mississippi State and Vandy and Kentucky, like, they're in this league. So I don't think Tennessee's going bottom 4. It's not that bad. Certainly it's not that bad. So I'm going to go 9.25 on the boldness scale there. Next up, very, very interesting. Wayne from Erdenheim, Pennsylvania. Good people there, I'm told. He says Penn State rushes for over 200 yards against Ohio State in Columbus. I put this at an 8.5. This actually wouldn't shock me. There's a lot of retooling that Ohio State has to do defensively this year anyway. Penn State returns 4 offensive linemen. They got 2,000-yard caliber backs. But here's the thing. They did this last year against Notre Dame and lost. They did this last year against Oregon and lost. Penn State could run for over 200 against Ohio State and lose. Not that that would make the prediction any less accurate, but I'm just saying this sounds like it correlates with a Penn State win. Maybe. It doesn't hurt to run for over 200, but it doesn't guarantee a win. I'm going to make this an 8.5. They averaged 202 rush yards per game last year. The defensive coordinator that was at Ohio State is at Penn State now. So I went and looked the last 4 games Penn State's had against Ohio State. Rush yards per game, 120, 49, 111, 33. So they would have to do much better than that, obviously. But this is not crazy. It's not 8.5, I think is about right. It's not crazy, but it also doesn't guarantee anything. Hey, quick timeout. Check and see if you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, make sure you do. It's free. It doesn't obligate you or sign you up for anything. It just helps us keep the channel free. All right, back to the show. Next up, this is from Jeru, probably the right pronunciation, in Greer, South Carolina. I know I did nail that, immunity. ACC runner-up will not make the playoff this year. This almost happened last year. If SMU would have beaten Clemson in the ACC title game, this would have happened last year. The only team at FanDuel right now that has minus odds, that is technically like quote-unquote favored to make the playoff, is Clemson. So right now, if you just strictly looked at the odds market, it's very seeable. It's very, very possible that the ACC could be a one-bid league. And you got a small pool of teams. Like in the SEC, you got like a dozen teams that can make the playoff or that you could see making the playoffs. In the ACC, who is it? It's Clemson, it's Miami, SMU, Georgia Tech, Louisville. After that, there's a big drop-off. So I'm not saying that, like Virginia Tech couldn't make it, but it would be a big surprise if they did. I'm going to put an 8.75 on this. A lot of it has to do with how the Big 12 looks. So if the Big 12 is a one-bid league, then obviously the ACC is probably sending more than one team. Lastly here, speaking of the Big 12, Kurt from Rexburg, Idaho, hit me. He said 3 Big 12 teams make the playoffs, and none of them will be Arizona State. I just want to know how in the world this happens. This is a 10. If you just told me 2 Big 12 teams make it, and neither of them are Arizona State, this would be bold. But 3 of them, in fact, just 3 teams from the Big 12 making it is already a 9.5 on the boldness scale. So this would be a 10. The best way I figure this is you have to have like a group, Kansas State, BYU, Texas Tech, Baylor, Iowa State, a combination of those. You probably need 3 teams that are 11-win teams. And, 2 of them go on and play in the Big 12 title game or whatnot. But you probably need that to happen. And a couple of them need to have beaten Arizona State in the process. I think Arizona State is either one of or the best team in that conference preseason. Who knows what injury does. but you can't forecast that. So maybe that has to happen, like morbidly. Maybe Arizona State injury luck has to be bad for this to happen. That's a 10 on the boldness scale.